All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you all so much once again for tuning in. And I am Josh Samuel, and I am joined by Brother Luis, Brother Fran, Brother Sean, and Brother Jordan. How's everybody doing today, man?
Good, good.
Everything's good.
Good, good, good,
Yeah.
good. Brother Sean, man, I'll start with you, man. What did you think about the DC Fandom event that took place a few weeks back, man?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I enjoyed seeing all the trailers, all the behind the scenes stuff. Just getting to hear all these people who I look up to and people who I love seeing in movies, seeing them make movies, talk about movies, and especially when it's solely about DC,
Mm-hmm.
it just it even more enjoyable because you see kind of Comic-Con panels on YouTube and stuff, and there's kind of a wide, broad spectrum of stuff. But this was solely DC, so I was kind of interested for the whole day, you know. So I thought it was pretty cool, and it's definitely something that they should definitely go back to in the future.
For sure, for sure. Brother Fran, man, what did you think about the Fandom event that took place on a few weeks ago, man?
Well, I think it was pretty great. Like something new, something that I mean, comparing it to Comic Con or whatever, it was a huge success, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that they did a great job making it dynamic and making it flow. Not
Mm-hmm.
like it was pre-recorded, but it wasn't that obvious. So I think that they did a great job, and the trailers and all the behind the scenes and everything was really really nice. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Brother Jordan, man, what did you think about the DC Fandom event, man?
It was awesome. Yeah, ditto to everyone. What everybody said. Obviously, like the highlight was the Snyder cut. I think for most of us.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that was just like epic, biblical, amazing. It was incredible. But like, I was really like, I loved all the Batman footage because I've been on the fence about that movie, and I was like totally sold as soon as I saw it. I was like, okay, this is awesome. So, Batman and Snyder cut were the highlights for me.
Facts. Brother Luis, man, what did you think about the event, bro?
Well, I'm going to agree completely with Jordan there. Like, I was curious about the new project by Matt Reeves, the Batman, but
Mm-hmm.
as soon as I started seeing him talk about the concept and the character and the background, all the knowledge he had for the character, I was like, okay, this guy is going to, to go for the extra mile to bring us something new,
Mm-hmm.
something fresh. And then I saw the teaser with just, I think it was like 25% of the production done, of the shooting. I was like, wow, this shit is for real, all right. And yeah, and of course, well, with the teaser trailer of the Snyder Cut, and even before that, with the panel with Zack and the actors and some fans, and it was great. And I ended up crying while watching the teaser for Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm not gonna lie, it
Yeah.
was super emotional for me. It was, the combination of the images and the music that he chose, and the song he chose, and it was incredible. And the event itself, it was very well organized in general. I was a little bit pissed because I don't know about you guys, but here where I live, just when the introduction of the multiverse panel was starting, um, the connection, well, not my internet connection, but the servers of the DC fandom, it was like it kind of crashed, and I was reloading the page all the time and it wouldn't work, and
Mm-hmm.
it was like, wow. So, and I couldn't see in the first run the panel for the Flash either. I had to wait, those extra 8 hours to see it in the second run,
Mm-hmm.
because, but aside from that, it was great.
Yeah, it was great, and it was just great to see them cover all different facets of DC, whether it was the live action movies, the live action TV shows, or even seeing the games like Gotham Knights, which will be releasing next year. It was just a really awesome day, and to see them cover everything DC was really awesome. And yes, the Snyder Cut trailer was obviously the biggest highlight for myself and everyone else. Brother Fran, man, what did you think about the Wonder Woman 1984 trailer?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not that excited about that movie. I don't know why. Like, listen, I enjoyed the first Wonder Woman. I like the vibe and the tone that they're going for in the second one.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I saw the trailer and I was like, yeah, this is cool, but it didn't really get me hyped up. Like, I'm obviously gonna see it and everything, but I don't know. I thought it's cool. Like, it looks good. I'm kind of excited to see it, but it wasn't the Batman or the Snyder Cut level of excitement. Like, it
Right.
wasn't like I can't wait to see that movie. It's like I'm obviously gonna see it, but it didn't do much for me. But I don't know. I guess that some people really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Cheetah's design. That was something that I was scared. Like, they're gonna make her look like a furry or something. but not. It turned out pretty great.
Facts. Brother Luis, man, what did you think about the 1984 trailer?
Oh, thank you for reminding me about that movie. It's not that, like, I'm not excited or anything. It's just that I have forgotten about it. But I, I guess that I'm more excited than our buddy friend here about that particular movie. I'm a big fan of the first one, and I think that, like, the editing of the trailer, I enjoyed the first one a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, with their that remix from an 80s song that they chose. And one thing that I enjoy about the second trailer is that they didn't show us that much new footage, because I sometimes we get so spoiled with trailers, and once you go and see the movie, you have already seen most of the most spectacular sequences in the trailers. So I liked the fact that they reused many of those scenes already seen in the first trailer for the second one. And yeah, Cheetah looks great, and I'm very excited for the movie. I think there's a rumor about its runtime, about 2 hours and a half. I hope it is
Yeah, I
something
think
like
it's the
that.
longest.
Yeah, because I think that way they will be able to develop each character's arc properly, and we will be more invested in the characters, and we will care more about them. So yeah, I'm very excited, and I hope, because here in Spain it's supposed, well, not just in Spain, I think in many other countries, it's supposed to get released on in theaters October the 2nd, I believe it's the date.
Mm-hmm.
So I hopefully, fingers crossed, is not delayed again.
Especially if everything's going on. And with that being said, brother Luis, like I try to remember to say, I hope everyone is staying safe in these very troubling times, not just with COVID, but with everything else going on. But enough of that.
Oh.
Brother Jordan, man, what did you think about the 1984 trailer?
I really liked it. I think the standout for me was Cheetah, because I've been really scared that it would be like Cats, because that's like such an easy character to screw up if you don't get the design right. And I thought it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest, I watched the trailer once when it aired, and I don't want to see it again, because I kind of want to just see the movie by this point. We've been waiting for, supposed to come out last year, then it was supposed to come out this summer, and then hopefully it comes out, this October and everything. So, I mean, I'm trying to avoid as much of the footage as I can, because I just want to go into the movie and be surprised and just see it that way. Because I've been waiting for this for a while, and I kind of like Fran. I mean, I'm probably more excited for it than Fran is. I'm probably more with Luis, but I think I do get that sense of like, oh yeah, that movie's coming out. When is that coming out? There is this kind of like, I hope the delay doesn't like, I feel like it's got me a little, not less interested, but I keep forgetting that it's coming out just because it keeps getting pushed back. So hopefully, I mean, fingers crossed we get to see that movie by the end of the year in a safe way. But yeah, I was super hyped for that. So yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, and I hope Pedro Pascal. I think Pedro Pascal and Christian Wiig will kill it as Cheetah and Maxwell Lord. Obviously, those are reverse. I think they'll definitely kill those roles, and I'm interested to see Wonder Woman transition to the 1980s because we've seen her way back in the early 1900s, and we've seen her obviously in what we consider present day in BVS. So I'm interested to see mostly how she transitions, and obviously how they bring Steve Trevor back. That's really what I'm excited to see. Brother Sean, man, what did you think about the 1984 trailer?
Yeah, kind of got overshadowed by the whole day because the Batman trailer was so good and the Snyder trailer was so good, and that's what kind of everyone was talking about. But it was it was a pretty good trailer. Probably the best one that they've released so far. It showed us a lot, but it also it used some scenes that it already showed us in other trailers. But I think overall it was pretty good, and I'm interested. I'm excited for Wonder Woman 84. Like when the first Wonder Woman came out, I was excited for it, but I wasn't really killing myself to see it. Like, but now for this one, I can't wait to see what Patty Jenkins has got to do, because I bet with this one she got a little bit more freedom than she did with the first one, because she was only a director. And she didn't have she probably had a lot of like executives, Geoff Johns and stuff like that in her ear the whole time. So I hope in this one she got to take a little bit more risks. And it is a longer run time, which is good as well. That's a good sign that they let her do her own thing. So overall, Chris Pine's back. I love him. Gal is every time she appears as Wonder Woman, she seems to be getting better and better. And I am skeptical of Christian Wiig as Cheetah. I have my doubts of whether she can pull it off, but I'd love her to prove me wrong.
Facts. Now, brothers, we've been waiting a long time for the Batman. Unfortunately, we all know what happened behind the scenes with Ben Affleck. Some of it, we don't know all of it, but he was originally scheduled to direct, star, and co-write the movie, apparently with Geoff Johns, and we know the history behind that. Eventually, Matt Reeves was brought in. Rumors were swirling, and then eventually Robert Pattinson, who is by all accounts a very talented actor in his own right, was brought in to star as the Batman. And we now know that obviously it's going to be in its own sort of universe set apart from the DCU, something I'm glad, and something that also brings forth other possibilities. With that said, brother Fran, man, what did you think about the Batman trailer, man? Because it was something. I was nervous, but it was definitely something.
Well, I mean, I was excited for the movie, but after that trailer, I'm like, this is my most excited film after the Snyder Cut. Like, the combination of Batman and Seven and Zodiac, like that crime investigating thing, looks like, I mean, for the looks of it, it's going to be R-rated. So the whole mood, the whole aesthetic of the movie is really appealing to me. So after seeing that and the whole trailer, and like it's even like scary, like the Riddler's voice and everything looks like saw traps and things like that, which is really freaky. But I really like it. But overall, I think that it's gonna be really funny. I mean, I think that it is funny, but people haven't really catch up to it yet. That he's going to kill, like he obviously is going to kill people. So to all those people who trashed Ben Affleck's Batman in 2016 because he killed people, what are they gonna say now? because in that trailer he doesn't just knock out that guy, like he's knocked out in the ground and he's punching him, and they cut out, and we don't know even how many times he gets punched. So I think that guy is dead. So I just want to see the reactions from people who trust Snyder for not understanding the core of the character and all that. When Matt Reeves has a Batman that kills people all the fucking time, like all the Batmen have done, but whatever.
Oh my God.
I'm really excited for that.
This is going to be the best thing ever. Robert Pattinson is killing people. It's so awesome. Look at Matt Reeves. I can hear him now. Brother Luis, man, I'm sorry, man. What did you think about the Batman trailer and everything? And, you know, with us getting Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves, what did you think about it, bro?
Yeah, well, first of all, I hope that Robert Pattinson recovers. I mean, that he can go through COVID-19 in a safe way, that he doesn't have any kind of complications or anything. Because I think I read yesterday or 2 days ago that production had been halted again because he was tested positive with the virus.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, and I think Fran has just said it beautifully, the vibe that they're going for, it's clearly like, it seems like a product directed by David Fincher, like Seven, or that kind of crime background action movie with an investigation ongoing, and it seems like it's going to have like this dark atmosphere, and I mean, of course, violence, and it's going to be very explicit, I think. And I agree with Fran that that guy that Batman is fighting in the train. Well, fighting. He's just beating him to a pulp, right? So it's like, yeah. And I'm also curious, just as Fran, to see the reaction of people, because he's so right, and we have seen that in previous iterations of Batman on the big screen, like Keaton's Batman Killed, Bale's Batman Killed, and everybody was chilled with it. And then suddenly Snyder does it with Ben Affleck, and everybody's losing their minds, and it's so hypocritical of them for trashing the character and the incarnation and the background, because for the first time we were told why he was behaving in such a aggressive way. There was a seed, there was a cause behind his behavior. So, but super excited for the Batman with Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson. After that teaser, after listening to the director speaking about the project, yeah, I agree that it's going to be something else.
Yeah, I agree, brother. Sean, man, what did you think about the unexpectedly damn near godly Batman trailer we saw?
Absolutely loved it. That's the Batman I want. Batman just taking down guys, being brutal, going through an internal struggle of why he is Batman or what has driven him to that point. We got elements of it in the Dark Knight trilogy. Ben Affleck's Batman was just completely effed up. And I think with this one, we're going to get a really in-depth look at him as the character. But also, it was a really good trailer. Got me pumped for or what do you call him, Commissioner Gordon, Jeffrey Wright, isn't it? He's pretty good as well. A lot of people were giving out that he was cast originally because of his color of his skin, which should not matter whatsoever. Like, he's a brilliant actor.
Right.
And Paul Dano as the Riddler, that's going to be cool also. But for me, Robin Pattinson was my pick. When Ben Affleck stood down, I wanted Robin Pattinson because I watched all his indie films, like Good Time and Rover and Lost City of Z and things like that, and he really has crafted into a great actor. So he was my pick, but I'm glad Ben Affleck is kind of coming back as well, and Robert Pattinson can do his own thing in his universe, and Ben Affleck can potentially come back for more things in his universe. So it's a win-win for the fan. And the Batman, I don't know if it's going to make that October 2021 release date because of all this happening, but whenever it does hit, it's going to be a great film. I can just feel it.
Yeah. Brother Jordan, man, what did you think about the unexpectedly damn near godly the Batman trailer? Because it was definitely something.
Well, my erection lasted for way more than 4 hours, but I mean, I ain't complaining. Like, it was amazing. Like I said, I've been really on the fence. When I heard about the Batman movie, I was kind of worried that it would be kind of like an MCU type kind of movie, which would be fine and good, but I'm really not interested in kind of those type of movies as much. And so when I see this and they make the Riddler like a Zodiac killer, they use the same font that the Zodiac used. They make, Catwoman, when we see her starting out, we see the tone and just the kind of style, the way everything is shot is like you guys said, like a lot like Seven, a lot like Zodiac, David Fincher style. I was totally on board, and it just looks incredible. And I'm now fully I'm on the hype train, and it's just, I've probably seen that preview and the Snyder Cut preview. Like, I've watched it like once a day ever since we got those, because I'm so excited. And I'm also super surprised because didn't Matt Reeves, he said that they only shot like 25% of the movie, and it looks like they shot a lot of scenes. Like there's a lot of good footage in there. I was expecting just a little scene, but they gave us like, that's a proper trailer. So this movie's probably going to be pretty big and long and epic, and I'm excited. I'm fully on board.
Facts. Finally, brothers, we are gonna jump into Zack Snyder's Justice League now. Obviously, the trailer was released and it was, as expected, very epic. Brother Luis, man, we've talked about it before. What was your initial, aside from, I think you said earlier you did get emotional. What was your initial reaction to the trailer, the Zack Snyder Justice League trailer, man?
Well, I, the fact that the very first shot that we are shown in that new teaser trailer was Uxas, like right there, like in front of us, like wow, that shocked me in a good way, you know, like wow, there it is, you know, and I was elated, I was thrilled, I was excited, I was emotional. It was such a joy because for us, people who have been fighting to get the Snyder Cut, the fact that a lot of the shots in that teaser were the very same stills Zack had shared with us in black and white on Vero. It was like, it felt for me like a tribute to the fans. I don't think this teaser trailer, although it can work like that as well, I guess. I think it's not so much for the global audience, like the general audience, people who didn't have a clue of what had happened behind the scenes or even were fighting for this, but more for the fans, like hallelujah, like at last, you know, it's going to come out and you're going to see all these beautiful epic shots. And you know, and especially I think the one scene I got more emotional with was with Lois Lane looking up in the sky. I mean, at that point I couldn't hold back my tears anymore. I was completely, you know, like in a good way, of course, but it was. And that, you know, last line with Batman, you know, talking to the league, like they never fought us before, not as united. Which is, for us, it resonates so powerfully because of the, you know, the hoodies and the t-shirts and uh, everything that goes with the movement itself. We were told it didn't exist. We were told it was a pipe dream that we had to let it go and all that shit. But we stayed together and we fought for it and we won at the end. So, wow. I mean, sorry, I could speak for hours just about that teaser trailer.
It's amazing. Brother Jordan, man, when you saw Zack Snyder's Justice League, I know aside from wanting to type to every blue check and Andy Signor and Jody's fat ass, you wanted to probably type lick my asshole. But aside from that, brother, what was your reaction, man?
Oh man, I had, my mouth was open and I was just floored and silent for like the entire time. I had so many thoughts. It was just such an incredibly emotional experience, I think, for everyone, you know, finally getting able to see this. And it's this genius thing where it's not like nothing we saw was new. Like, we've all seen the screenshots, so nothing he showed was new, but we actually got to see it in motion with completed VFX or nearly complete VFX. And I remember it was just this overwhelming sense of just like, that's the kind of movie I want to see. That's what we got. And the Hallelujah, you know, as a tribute to the fans, as a tribute to his family, I mean, it was such a perfect song choice. And if you kind of take a look back, it's really not a trailer because it doesn't like, it's just shots from the movie. So it really is a more appropriate teaser trailer, but it's still, it was still like, it did its magic. And it, I think as an announcement, as just kind of this, you know, kind of this exclamation of like, hallelujah, it's getting released. It did perfectly. And I love that. So, I mean, it felt like overwhelming. It felt biblical. It felt epic. It felt like something I've I've never experienced before, and I don't quite have the words to describe it, but it just, you know, it absolutely made my year. And I can't tell, like, I don't even know how I'm going to react once the final trailer is out, which will probably hit in like December or something. But yeah, I was just totally overwhelmed with emotions, with just how happy I was for everybody involved, how happy I was for everyone in the movement. It was absolutely incredible. The best day of this year by far for me.
For sure. Whew. Brother Fran, man, I know you have a lot to say, man. What was your reaction to the trailer for Zack Snyder's Justice League, man? Or Justice League, the Snyder Cut, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, they're still fighting that legal battle or whatever. But I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I saw it leaked.
Mm-hmm.
Like I saw it like 5 hours earlier or something like that. I didn't link it or anything. I just saw it on Reddit because I was browsing and I said, "Wow, what is this?" And the first time I saw it, it felt unreal. Like you know when you, I don't know, see something for the first time and you're looking at it and you're like, this is not real. Like I can't believe that I'm seeing Darkseid and Superman in a black suit in this trailer. It's something that I couldn't get my mind to. But when it released officially, I started watching it over and over again. And the feeling was, I mean, it was a feeling of relief, of I've been waiting to see all of this for 3 years and I'm finally seeing it. So it was a mixture of relief and happiness. But I don't know, I've been listening to Hallelujah. Like I had never heard that song because here in Spain, it's not that popular. But I've been listening to it like 24/7. Like I'm on the car, like driving somewhere, and I'm screaming Hallelujah in my car because I love that song now. I don't know. I think that it was quite emotional. And after Zack said why that song was in there, I think that it was even more emotional. So I don't know. I think that the trailer was a gift for the fans. And like Jordan said, like this is a teaser. Like there was just like three lines of dialogue at the end. When we get a proper trailer with lots of more dialogue, it's going to be even better because we're going to have like those shots with those amazing Snyder visuals and everything like that. And we're also going to hear Chris Terrier's original dialogue. Right. So, I mean, this one was extremely good. And I'm just waiting for the next one because I know the next one is going to be even better.
Yeah, everything y'all said, I completely agree with. Man, Brother Sean, I'm gonna get you, but man, it was great, man. Just seeing Zack smile, seeing him continue to interact with fans, even when he doesn't have to. Seeing him just, you know, interact with the other Justice League cast members, Ray, Henry, Ben, and Gal, of course. And when Gal said, you know, we're stronger together, I literally started bawling out because that even in not just in the movie, you know, not just in the movie, but even in real life, we are indeed stronger together. We proved that on November 17th, and it's a testament to how unity can, you know, affect real life. And man, just seeing all those great scenes that we didn't see in Joss Whedon and Friends, namely Geoff Johns. We didn't see those scenes, and we're finally gonna get to see those scenes. We're gonna get to see Cyborg's story. We're gonna get to see, as you said, Friends, Superman in the black suit. Everything that Zack wanted us to see, we're gonna finally get to fucking see. And this is for not just us. This is for guys like Scott Mendelson, who has to talk shit when nobody asked him to fucking talk. This is for guys like Jody's Fat Ass Corner. This is for guys like Andy Signor. This is for you guys as well. We get to see you cry on social media and YouTube while we get to enjoy something that we actually love and see the people in the movie succeed while doing it. So suck it and shut the fuck up. Brother Sean, your turn.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry if there any background noise. It's raining here now, but yeah. No. The Zack Snyder's Justice League trailer when it came out, I got a little bit emotional as well, the same as Jordan, Fran there, and you know, it really was perfect, and it was for the fans. You know, this wasn't for average audiences. If it was average audiences, I would have said, "Oh, Steppenwolf is coming, and the league needs to get together." You know, there was none of that stuff. this was 100% a Zack Snyder trailer made for the fans. You know, it really was. It was made for that Snyder Cut movement, and I loved it. It was brilliant. It just really it captured what the heart of this film was going to be. I think every shot of most of the characters in the film, whether it be Ray Fisher Cyborg or whether it be Jason Momoa or Lois or Gal, they're all going through something. Gal, it looks to be crying when she bends down to the little girl. You have Ray crying over his father. You know, you've got Jason Momoa there, seems like an outcast, a loner. He's probably lonely. Probably doesn't know who he is yet because Aquaman hasn't happened yet. And you can just see that this film is going to be about redemption. It's about strong arcs, and that's what the 2017 film was missing. There was no arcs whatsoever. There was no risks. There was no kind of redemption for these characters coming off Batman versus Superman. And I think that this trailer really captured that for me so much. It shows to all the haters that there is a completely different film when they say that wasn't that much cut out of the film. There is. Look at how beautiful these look, and some of the CGI isn't even finished yet, guys. It's not even finished. Like D-Side, Darkseid, Steppenwolf, that's not even finished, and it already looks pretty good. I'd watch it the way it is, you know. And even it makes me think as well, like, is he adding more scenes into this as well? Because that opening shot of when he it looks at the future, and you have the Justice League sign broken, and you have the Joker card come in, and you have the Trident and Wonder Woman's shield and Thomas's Wayne picture. Those it looks okay, but it looks like that's only after been done recently, you know. That looks like the Trident, you can see that it's been put there, you know what I mean? It doesn't look like it flows right yet. So I'm wondering, is he adding little bits to this to turn it into a series? But that trailer for me was just perfect. And Ben Affleck's Batman on the gargoyle was just epic as well. The Black Superman, there's so much to talk about, but it really was my dream for a trailer. The Hallelujah song, it brought back those kind of Watchmen vibes of what this film might be, because a lot of the shots were kind of reminiscent to what Watchmen was. Because I watched Watchmen the other day, and a lot of the shots, even that one with the Flash saving Iris and the car blowing up in the background, it looks very Watchmen-esque to me. But I just can't wait.
Yeah, and extreme shout out to Kiersey Clemens as well. Hopefully she's still in the Flash movie.
Oh yeah,
Jordan, man, brother Fran, brother Luis, brother Sean. I want to talk a little bit about, you know, we've gotten some really good news with the fandom and everything, and we also gotten more hellacious news, more troubling news as of late. Brother Fran, brother Jordan, man, I'll start with y'all. It's interesting time we live in how powerful the media is and how powerful social media actually is, because one person may type something and it might not get attention. Another person may type something, boom, something like, "Oh, I got a burger and a shake with some fries at McDonald's." 300,000 likes, 400,000 retweets. Somebody might say, "Oh, I donated blood, or I donated plasma." Oh, okay, bro. 10 likes, 12 retweets. You know, it's an interesting time we live in. And we see people have different opinions about Geoff Johns, you know, his involvement in DC. Oh, if he's involved in this movie, I'm not gonna go see it. If he's involved in this, I'm not watching it. Brother Jordan, man, I'll start with you, man. What's your thought on how, you know, how we should go about, you know, doing this? Is there a cause for us all to just boycott everything? Like, for example, Wonder Woman 84. Should we just boycott it just because Geoff Johns wrote the movie? Should we just, you know, completely abandon it?
I mean, that's a great question, and it's a hard question, and one that I don't know I have the answer to.
Sorry.
It's tricky because Patty's always been supportive of Zack. She has hinted at not being a fan of what happened to him and everything. Gal's definitely, she's definitely experienced that, you know, firsthand account of what went down on Justice League. And yet Geoff Johns is supposedly a writer on the movie.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what that relationship looked like necessarily. And we know that Warner Brothers is not above having the actors and directors and creatives lie to the press about it. So we don't really know what Jeff's relationship with the Wonder Woman movie is exactly, the new one. Because again, Zack is a producer on that movie. Him and Debbie are their studio. I think they're producing it.
Right.
So it's really tricky, and I don't think we know all the circumstances. I mean, we know Geoff Johns was on the set of Wonder Woman 84 cracking jokes about the Snyder Cut, and that's just like, insulting to like everybody, because I'm pretty sure people who worked on Justice League also worked on Wonder Woman 84. So, Wonder Woman 84 at the end of the day was not the brainchild of Geoff Johns. It was the brainchild of Patty and Gal, and to a lesser extent, Zack and Debbie, because they created the character. So I really think, and we have to remember, thousands of people work on these huge blockbusters. And so we want to support them, and we want to support those hard workers, especially in, Corona time and everything, COVID. And we want to support Gal, and we want to support Patty. So we want to support them. But I think at the same time, we need to make sure that WB know that we do not support Geoff Johns, what he's been doing, what he's been getting away with.
Right.
Same thing with Joss, with John Berg. I think it's very important that we stay vocal about that, whether that's on social media, whether that's, on a, whatever platform we have. I think it's important that we vocalize that, but we at the same time, we support the creatives who, are supportive, who I think have integrity, who are trying to do some good in the world, and who are just, who have sided with Zack, and that would be Patty and Gal. So I think it's important that we support them. We support the crew of that movie, but we make sure WB know that we don't support Gal. I'm sorry, that we don't support Geoff Johns and anyone involved with the Justice League abuse. So I think, honestly, just vocalizing that is really important, and it is tricky because he is so deep into what I guess Warner Brother wants, but not necessarily what Jim Lee wants, or not necessarily what Warner Max wants, or AT&T. So it's a tricky situation. I don't have all the answers, but that's kind of where my head is at this moment. I'm sure these other fellows will have some great insight into that and different opinions and all that. So, yeah.
Right. Brother Fran, man, we've long debated this. We've long discussed this. You know as well as anyone that 1 minute I'll be like, yeah, if you want to boycott, go ahead and boycott. But if you do want to see it, then by all means see it. Then you just hear more troubling details about Joss and John Berg, and now someone else as well. And it's like, wow, fuck that guy completely, and fuck all the shit that he wrote. So as Brother Jordan said, man, it is very, very, very tricky at this stage. What's your thought on, boycotting everything Geoff Johns has even a minuscule of involvement in?
Well, I don't think that's a good idea, because by doing so, you are also boycotting the other hundreds of people who are working on that film. So I think that we have to make something clear on social media that clearly works is we do not want this guy anywhere near films anymore. And we have no problem with these films, and we are going to continue to support them because they are directed and starred by people that we like, but this guy needs to leave. And I think that if we make something as clear as that, especially supporting Ray Fisher, because Ray Fisher is the one that has publicly pointed at him,
right,
saying you and John Berg and Joss Whedon were the guys who I had problems with. I think that if you are like really specific about it, you won't hurt the movie, but also you can get to the point where we get this guy fired.
Mhm.
Like it can be kind of tricky because people might think, well, if his name is attached to it and we support it, and imagine if Wonder Woman 84 gets $1 billion, isn't that a way of supporting him? Not exactly. You're supporting the director, you're supporting the actors, the crew, the VFX artists. But if you publicly say, hey, I enjoyed Wonder Woman 84, it was a great movie, and then you in the same tweet say, but I don't want to see Geoff Johns in any films again, Warner Bros. Are gonna see that. Like the same way they saw the constant support for the Snyder Cut, they're gonna see the constant support for Ray Fisher and to get Geoff Johns out of there.
Right.
So don't stop supporting other artists' visions and movies because one bad apple. Make sure you cut that bad apple from the tree, but keep, feeding the tree. You can't just chop off the whole tree because of one bad apple. Just cut off the bad apple. Quick metaphor there.
Wow. Brother Luis, man, what's your take on all this, man? As I told brother Jordan, 1 minute in times past I've been like, oh, if you want to boycott, go ahead, little kid, or if you want to support it, go ahead, little kid, or if I've been back and forth on it, but then you just hear more and more troubling details, and it's like, what the fuck this guy and fuck everyone who supports him. What's your thought on it, man?
Well, first of all, I completely agree with Jordan and Fran about the fact that boycotting, in this case, for example, Wonder Woman 1984, is not the answer. That's not. I personally and humbly believe that is not the right way to approach this problem. And as Jordan very well said, this is a very complex and tricky. It's a great question, but it's a very complex question, right? Because it involves things that we may know, but I'm sure it will also involve things that happened or has happened behind the scenes that we are not aware of, things that we don't know about. But it's so telling, the fact that, do you guys remember the first time that Ray Fisher accused these people of their unprofessional and abusive behavior? Like one of the trades, I don't remember if that was also the Hollywood Reporter or another one, published all of a sudden, out of the blue, a story about Jason Momoa, working with this other movie, with this project, and with John Berg, and it was so on the nose. It was so clear that they were trying to create a small screen or divert our attention, or just showing that no, it cannot be true what Ray Fisher is claiming on social media, because otherwise Jason Momoa would not be on board with these guys for another project, right? It was kind of a way for me to try and and Jesus, this is very, 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 very a very hard topic. And Jordan said it, that, and it's true, as far as I'm concerned, the Stone Quarry, this new production company with Zack and Debbie, is behind Wonder Woman 1984, and Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins have been supportive of Zack and his vision and the opportunity that he's finally gotten to show his true movie. So aside from the fact that, just as a viewer, I'm excited to see that movie, boycotting the movie is like Fran said with that beautiful metaphor. Don't chop down the entire tree because just one bad apple, that one or two, or however, how I don't know how many bad apples may be left in Warner Brothers, but it's so clear. Because let's be clear here. The Hollywood Reporter is now claiming, they're not making the claims. They're part of the trades. The trades, their job is to communicate what these big film movie studios are telling them to. So they're basically saying that Ray Fisher is not being cooperative with investigation. Let's be clear. The investigation would not be happening if he hadn't started it in the first place. If he has remained silent, if he has been quiet about it and said, okay, we're gonna have Zack Snyder's Justice League, so, but he was so clear about it during JusticeCon in his panel, that he's gone through processes like this before, and that he's going to go until the end, no matter what. So that's why I personally stand with Ray Fisher, because I believe what he says. I believe that holding people accountable for their despicable actions are more important than entertainment.
Yes, yes. Whew, brother Sean, man, what's your thought? As I've repeatedly said, I'll going back and forth. I'm just throwing my hands up because it's like I said, it's every day. Seemingly, we're just hearing more and more bad stuff. And yes, I did watch The Flash season 1. Yes, I did watch both seasons of Titans. Titans season 2, unfortunately, given how it ended. Yes, I have read some Geoff Johns comics, not all of them, but I have read some, and it's disappointing to know that people in these privileged, what we consider privileged positions of power, just abuse people that are trying to do their best, trying to be good people, and trying to be upstanding citizens, and trying to do the job that they're getting paid to do. And Ray Fisher is thankfully speaking out against it, and he literally does not give a fuck, and he's literally been classy through this whole ordeal, and he's adamantly posted accountability over entertainment. So to me, as Brother Luis said, and as both Brother Jordan and Brother Fran alluded to, that definitely means something, especially the fact that he keeps mentioning accountability over entertainment. But with that said, what's your thought on the whole boycott scenario?
Yeah, well, look, the thing with movies is it's very hard to boycott a movie unless it's an actor or director, because there's so many people involved. Geoff Johns is the producer on these films, but we don't know to what extent and what input he had on these films. We know in certain ones he did, but the newer ones that are coming out now, we don't really know. And in terms, no offense to the Snyder Cut movement, but we don't really have that much power when it comes to, say, box office. A lot of these films, the marketing is towards general audiences, and if general people see Aquaman, they see the marketing for Aquaman, and that gets them interested, and they see Jason Momoa because he's a very good looking man, they're going to go see it because of that. And the same with Wonder Woman, a female superhero, they're going to go because of those elements. So if the Snyder Cut movement was to completely boycott going to see movies that Geoff Johns was involved with, yeah, to an extent it would have an impact, but overall it wouldn't have that much. But what we can do is be vocal on social media, and then when Ray Fisher speaks out and when other cast members speak out, then we can support those people, we can retweet, we can keep bringing it up in conversation under posts about Geoff Johns. I think that's how you really get the message out there. In terms of his own individual art, like comic books, I suppose you could boycott those. You could make an impact that way because that's him. His name is on that. That's his baby. But it's different for a movie because there's so many people involved. If you look at the Tarantino films, the Harvey Weinstein, they're producers on most of those films. That doesn't stop me from going to see Tarantino films. I love Tarantino. I love his movies. Those people are bad people. But their name is on it because of contracts, because of who they were, So the same with Geoff Johns is he probably has lengthy contracts with Warner Brothers. He probably, because he was with Wonder Woman 1, he has to be with Wonder Woman 2. He'll probably have to be on Wonder Woman 3 as well. The same with Aquaman. So I think at the end of the day, it comes down to contracts. But boycotting stuff at the end of the day, we're a fan. I want to go see. I'm looking forward to Wonder Woman 84. I know Geoff Johns is a writer on it. I'm looking forward to it because I'm a DC fan, I'm a Gal fan, I'm a Paddy fan. I'm looking forward to Justice League back in 2017. Then we found out what happened with that. But boycotting in terms of not going to see something because he's a producer, I don't think it doesn't do that much. But I think being vocal on social media like Ray Fisher is doing, I think that can have a bigger impact because social media is the way to go. If you sit at home and just do nothing and miss a film, no one's going to really care that much because how many people are actually going to stand with you and not go to the film. But online, I think a big way we can definitely get at, like Geoff Johns, we don't know exactly what happened, heard some things, but I'm behind Ray Fisher. I believe Ray Fisher because he's nothing to lose.
Right. Completely agree. Brothers, again, DC Fandom was epic. There is going to be a part 2 coming very soon. There were some things that we were teased, some things like the Batman, obviously, Zack Snyder's Justice League, that movie by James Gunn, and other things as well. Some things on the CW. We also saw Phil Lamar and them discussing Milestone Comics and Static Shock, of course. And there were some things that we were all hoping to see that we unfortunately did not get to see. And apparently the emphasis of this one coming up will be the multiverse. Hopefully, with me, I want to see them announce the Ayer cut, them say something about Henry Cavill as Superman, and just very wishful thinking, them announcing that, hey, we've decided to renew Swamp Thing for another season, because that show is just badass, and I don't get why. I just am pissed that they canceled it after one season the way they did, and the excuse just doesn't make any sense. With that said, brother Sean, man, what are you personally hoping to see at part 2 of the Fandom?
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting because they don't really have that big marquee names at it, so it's hard to know what to predict. But of course, the Ayer cut, if that's announced, that would be unbelievable. But there hasn't really been any signs of that. I would love to see a lot of talk about the Schumacher cut of Batman Forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you say what you want about those films; they have a fan base. Some people grew up in them. I like Batman Forever. I think Val Kilmer could have been a badass Batman if he got more films and if he had more of a serious script. But that's what the Batman Forever Red Book edition, is that they call it, is 40 minutes longer. It's darker. It's edited in a different way. There's more Riddler. There's more Two-Face. And there's a lot of backstory on how Val Kilmer's Batman struggles with being Batman as well, which I'd love to see. So if they could announce, and Val Kilmer is at DC Fandom, he's going to be showing off some of his artwork. But if they could announce that would be pretty cool for me now. I'd love to see that film. But other than that, I'm looking forward to just seeing more DC content and whatever hopefully there's a few surprises like there was at the first DC Fandom. But the Schumacher cut is one I want to really see announced.
Nice. Brother Jordan, man, what are you hoping to see at part 2 of the Fandom event?
Well, we know for a fact that there's a little, I don't know, BTS, little videos. There is a little section on the Snyder Cut music. And that's what I'm really excited to see, because, you know, we might have heard little snippets from Junkie XL here and there, but we really haven't heard anything really in its complete form. So I'm really excited to see the music. I'll be there. I'm not super hyped like I was for the first one, because this is like the TV stuff. And so there's not they said, not huge marquee names. There's not like any big thing, but some announcements would be cool. I'm looking forward to seeing some of those panels for the TV shows, just because, I'm not a huge fan, but I'm like a casual fan, so that'll be fun to see. But really, it's the Snyder Cut music is what I'm most excited for. So that's probably the highlight for me for that day.
Nice. Brother Luis, man, what are you personally hoping to see at part 2 of the Fandom event? Because with the Ayer cut, I've seen some people say, just because, there's a few shots that weren't in the movie, that doesn't mean that it's going to be it's going to make the movie better. Or just because David Ayer says on Twitter that this is in the movie is still going to be trash and all this, that, and the third. What's your thought on that, and what do you hope to see at the event, man?
Okay, so I agree with Jordan that this second part seems to be more focused on television aspect, or it doesn't seem like there's going to be like an HBO Max panel or anything like that, because I keep checking, the schedule in case they change something or they introduce something new. Sorry. And I remember that for the first day of DC Fandom on August 22nd, I remember there was a panel that was removed like 1 or 2 days before only. And it was a panel that it didn't have even an official title. It was like to be announced. And it just disappeared, and we haven't heard of that since. So my guess is that they were going to announce something, and then for whatever the reason, they decided it was too soon to announce that, and decided to put it off.
Mhm.
And I would love to see, a confirmation of the Ayer cut of Suicide Squad. I would love, in the memory and as a tribute to Joel Schumacher to get to know that we're going to get a Schumacher cut of Batman Forever. I would love to see like a surprise of Ben Affleck is going to come back and do his screenplay, the
Right.
one that Jay Oliver was praising so much as the best adaptation of a Batman story to the big screen. With John Manganiello as Deathstroke and J.C. Eisenberg and what have you, that would blow my mind. But I'm going to keep my expectations at check because, again, if you just take a look at the schedule, is most of the things is for television shows, and I'm just like Jordan. From the things of that schedule, the thing I'm most excited about is that behind the music of Zack Snyder's Justice League, which apparently is going to be just 2 minutes.
Mhm.
So maybe I'll be watching DC Fandom for 24 hours, those 2 minutes in a loop. I don't know, to be honest. I mean, so many things that would blow our minds, but for some reason, I think that they're going to wait. That probably it's too soon for some of those announcements.
Gotcha. Brother Fran, man, what are you hoping to see at part 2 of the Fandom event? If there is some big announcements.
Well, I mean, I'm not expecting any big announcements. I've seen people say, like you said, like maybe the Ayer cut, or some people were saying like the Batfleck HBO Max series. I don't know about that yet. I mean, I think that they're going to talk mostly about TV shows and comics, to be honest. Like, not that I know anything, but I think that if they were to announce something big, they would have done it in the 22nd, 22nd or the 26th? When was it? 22nd.
22nd, yeah.
On the 22nd, like, because that was like the big spotlight to say something like, oh, Man of Steel 2 or an HBO Max series with Ben Affleck or the Ayer cut. Like, that was the spotlight to do that. So I think that they're just mostly going to talk about TV shows, comics, and maybe they're going to announce things like, oh, season 8 of The Flash, or season whatever of Arrow, or season, like, stuff like that. I don't see him saying something like a Man of Steel 2 or something like that, because it's not going to have that much of an audience compared to the 22nd.
Gotcha. Finally, brothers, we have reached the conclusion of this stream. But before we go, obviously, we got to cover the big news. Geoff Johns, Joss Whedon, and sadly, Andy Signore have been thrown. Their names have been seen as of late, as have Ray Fisher and, not surprisingly, John Boyega. John Boyega has, since he's done with Star Wars, he's kind of voiced his displeasure at how his story turned out. He went to bat for JJ and everything, and recently him and Ray Fisher have also interacted on social media, and we know everything that Ray has brought to light so far on social media. So, brother Jordan, man, with everything that we've seen, people, going back and forth, people saying, "Oh, I need to hear John's side of the story." Oh, I stand with Ray, but this ain't the place to do it. All these things that people try to throw as reasons why they aren't necessarily supporting, hashtagging, or letting people know that, hey, I'm with what this guy says, because he's saying accountability over entertainment. With all that, man, what's your thought on this what is probably more of a fiasco than we realize?
Well, I think it's really tricky because we don't know all the details, but we know from track records who I think has more integrity, and that being Ray Fisher, the guy who, minority in America, minority in this, business, this industry. Also, this guy with hardly any career. This guy who has said that he does not care if his career is ruined, because he'd rather have integrity and do what's right, as opposed to a multi-million-dollar corporation with lots of lawyers, with a track record of lying and getting into shady business practices. We know that Ray Fisher called for a third-party investigation launched by AT&T or Warner Max. Warner Brothers is not the same as that. They're a different entity. I mean, they're all part of the same thing, but they're different. The Warner Brothers producers, they're the ones being investigated. Again, he has said that Ray has said that they can sue him for slander if they know he's lying, and they haven't. They haven't said anything. Then he says, just yesterday that the director of DC Films told him to, he'll throw Joss and John Berg under the bus if he keeps Geoff, keeps his name out of that. Obviously, Ray refuses. He goes public with that. And then WB releases a statement saying that Ray Fisher, he's not complying with their investigation, which doesn't make sense because Warner Brothers are not the ones running the investigation. That's another thing entirely. And so I think Ray, it's tricky, shady business practices is what we're seeing. Because at the end of the day, it's, again, it's a guy with everything to lose, a guy with no career, a guy who has said that I am refraining, I'm holding back information, and he's talking with his own kind of people, his own lawyers, and he has a plan, and he doesn't care if it gets ruined. Again, opposed to this multi-million-dollar corporation that has everything to lose, their reputation, money, Geoff Johns, who apparently they put a lot of stock into. So I think it's really telling who is probably on the right, kind of, who's going to come out on top. And I think that's pretty obvious. And the fact that there are people still siding with Warner Brothers, I think that's, I think they're going to look like idiots once all the truth gets set out. Because, of course, he has said that people from the cast and crew, that doesn't mean just the actors. That means the lower people, like the boom operators, the interns, the set runners, the grips, all those people. He has people who will go on record once he goes public, or once he starts the official, kind of investigation and everything. So, and Ray doesn't want them to ruin their careers, because he knows that that's, it's not right of him to ask them to risk all of the stuff they have. So he's willing to take that heat and they can remain, private until they, feel like stepping forward. So I think Ray has shown that he has a plan. He has a strategy. The fact that people aren't willing to listen or just understand that is just really telling and hypocritical, a lot of them, because if this was an MCU actor, or if it was maybe a white actor or a white actress or something, the conversations would be different. And I think this really shows why a lot of Black folks in America won't speak up on this abuse, because this is what happens. This is what happens when they do. People don't listen, people gaslight them, and people are respecting of their opinion. But I feel Ray Fisher feels confident. He has proof, he has evidence, and he has a team of people working with him. And I feel confident that eventually it will get it done. And the fact that Ray is getting it done, he seems pretty confident and not shaken by anything. That gives me hope that, he'll come out on top and the truth will eventually be revealed, and the people who need to be kind of punished will be punished. So I think that's kind of where we're all at right now. It's just, we're in the dark right now as fans and as people who are kind of from the outside. And we just need to stick with it and keep supporting Ray.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. Brother Sean, man, what's your take on everything that's going on? It's basically Ray Fisher versus Geoff Johns, Joss Whedon, John Berg, and now basically WB. What's your take on all of it, man?
Well, it looks like that Ray has gone through the right chain of command in terms of reporting this abuse, and he's been more or less ignored, and that's why he's taken to social media now to get this all out here. In the tweet that he put out yesterday, basically what he was saying was Walter Hamada, the president of DC, called him. He didn't mention him. He said DC. He said the DC president, which is Walter Hamada. He said called him and said more or less said, I can give you John Berg, I can give you Josh Whedon, but leave Geoff Johns alone. Now, if you go back to January 2018 when Walter Hamada was got the position as DC president, Geoff Johns was one of those reasons he got the job. He was picked by Geoff Johns. He was on that kind of committee to get Walter Hamada in. So Walter Hamada and Geoff Johns probably have a good relationship, and they've probably justified their own positions, because when Walter Hamada came in, what was the next DC movie? It was Aquaman. That made $1 billion, and Geoff Johns was involved in that as well. So they've justified their own position in an extent, even though on the outside we can see that Birds of Prey and Shazam, okay, I like the movies, but they didn't make money. And Walter Hamada is the one who didn't want Joker. Todd Phillips has said this. So those two guys who are in this position of power haven't really been doing that good of a job. And with Ray Fisher calling all this out, everything that he says is very accurate. It's very precise about who he names. He could have named Walter Hamada yesterday, but he didn't name him. He just said DC president. Maybe he's giving Walter Hamada the chance to do the right thing. But it's funny how how Warner Brothers, come out with a statement when one of their own positions of power is questioned, when there was no statement for when Ray Fisher said John Berg and Geoff Johns and Josh Whedon were doing toxic abuse. There was no statement for that. The only statement that came out was from John Berg saying that, there was creative differences. So this is complete bullshit the way these Warner Brothers are handling this right now. And it looks like that they're saying that Ray Fisher didn't want to cooperate. I'd say what happened was the third party that Warner Brothers brought in, Ray Fisher wasn't too happy with who it was. Maybe it was someone who was going to be leaning towards that side, and maybe that's why he wants AT&T, who own everything, to get involved now at the minute. So I believe Ray Fisher. I don't think he's making it up. Why would he make it up? And you can see, look at Ray Fisher's tweets there from a few months ago when he first brought this to light. Look at the comments. I don't know if they're true or not, but other claims have been made towards Josh Whedon and Geoff Johns. I can't say if they're true or not like that. I'm not going to encourage them, but there's a lot of stuff coming out, and it's not just Ray Fisher that's saying it. So I think that statement that DC or Warner Brothers made yesterday, it wasn't the best one to make, and I think this is going to get very messy very quick.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, it's disturbing, but it's not entirely surprising that, people in these privileged positions of power just, do whatever they want to do, abuse their position of power to not just get over on somebody, but to, make specific people feel less than and not treat their fellow human being as a fellow human being. And, again, I believed him when he first, started this whole thing, because he wasn't just solely focusing on himself. He said the entire cast and crew. And he also, again, adamantly has put emphasis on accountability over entertainment. And like I said, some things are more important. So this ain't about likes. This ain't about Black Lives Matter. That's a whole nother discussion. That's a whole nother scenario. This ain't about, him trying to boost his career, him trying to make himself more noticeable. This is about holding people accountable. And so it is telling, Brother Jordan, Brother Fred, Brother Luis, and Brother Sean, when you have people on social media, you have people that call themselves YouTubers, you have people even in trade publications willing to say, Warner Brothers said this, or, I need to see more facts. I believe Ray, but I need to see this. It's not like, he was, in these movies or that movie, or, that sounds bad, but Josh Whedon made Avengers 1. Oh, that sounds bad, but, Geoff Johns, I really love Flashpoint. Like, that shit is irrelevant at the end of the day when we're talking about holding people accountable, that are in these privileged positions. But with that said, brother Fran, what's your thought on Geoff Johns, Joss Whedon, and WB basically versus Ray Fisher?
Well, I think that I saw something on Twitter last night that really made me think when people say like, why aren't more people coming out to talk about this stuff? Like, why isn't more crew members? Why isn't more members of the cast coming out to say something?
Mm-hmm.
And for what Ray Fisher has said, it may look like this is going to go to court. So if you're going to go to court, you don't want to blow all your cards out. So he's probably holding up a lot of information that I think that he has in mind that this may end up there. So why would you blow all your cards and all your statements and all your witnesses in public so the Joss Whedon's or Geoff Johns lawyers can say, oh, this is what we're going to face. We're going to build this defense and this and that. I think that he's playing his card really close to the chest. I think that he's been very intelligent with what he's sharing and what he's not sharing. And I don't know, I completely believe in, because I am one of those people who always say, I need the facts. I can't just have your statement. I can just say, oh, trust me. Just trust me. Like, this happened. Trust me. I'm not going to trust you. I need some facts. But from what I've heard, from what I've seen Joss Whedon do in the past, from what I've seen like 6 or 7 other people come out to say this guy is a piece of shit and this is what he has done to us and this and that, I honestly believe him. I honestly do. And I mean, when I hear him talk, I don't see a lying person. I mean, I know that doesn't stand up in a court or whatever, but personally speaking, like emotionally speaking, when I see him talk, I see anger and I see someone trying to make a change. Like, I don't see someone scheming to get more power or something like that.
Right.
I see a man who has seen an injustice and chose to speak out about it, and he's mad about it, and he's mad that he had to go through that situation.
Right.
And I honestly believe it. And I think that article yesterday said that Ray Fisher is in cooperating. Why will he cooperate? He has to cooperate with AT&T and Warner Media. We're not with Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers are the ones who are trying to cover their asses because of this situation. And Warner Media are the ones who hired a private investigation to look into this stuff. So if Ray Fisher has to collaborate with someone, it has to be with that private investigator, not with Warner Brothers. And if he chooses not to participate, that's not the deal. Like, if someone says, hey, listen, I have information that, I don't know, there's like this drug trafficking going in this area, he doesn't have to be like the police and work with the police to uncover the things. You just report it and hand it over to the person who are going to take over it. Like, I don't understand like that statement of, oh, yeah, he talked about it publicly and now he doesn't want to collaborate on it. He will collaborate when he wants to. And if he doesn't want to, it's not his job. His job was to put it out there and have other people look into it. People who have power enough to make the decisions to change stuff. It's like if you go to the police and you're like, hey, someone stole my car. And they tell you, oh, they stole your car, so you're going to have to come with us and investigate with us. That makes no sense. Like, you just report it to the authorities, and the authorities and the people in charge are going to be the ones doing the investigation and doing the decisions that they think are correct. Right. Like, that article was just straight up to bash him and bash everything that he's been trying to do, but they are not going to get it because I Stand with Ray Fisher is already trending. So,
yeah,
bad idea, Warner Brothers.
Yeah, very bad idea. Brother Luis, man, with everything we've seen from Ray's first tweet to now him revealing that the head at WB called him and, was basically trying to get him to flip on specific guys, all except for one who's probably the primary suspect and has been named frequently. What's your thought on all this, man? What's your thought?
Wow. Okay. So, first of all, I got wind of this kind of late because I was hanging out with a friend yesterday, and I got home pretty late, so I didn't see. It was like, oh my god, I cannot, leave my house or forget about my phone for a few hours because something is gonna happen, and Jesus, like Warner Brothers they have shown they have a track record for covering their arse and for lying. Like for years, they told us that Zack Snyder had chosen Joss Whedon to come over and be at the helm of in order to finish the movie. And what he did was he rewrite about 80% of the screenplay. He reshot the majority of the movie, and he made a joke out of those characters and what they stand for. It was okay. So, and then you see Ray Fisher is someone who, from for what I can tell, is not only these tweets. You just listen to the man talk every week on Instagram or when he's chilling out playing a video game on Twitch, and you can see the integrity, sheer integrity behind the man. Like this is not a guy who is doing this for clout, as someone, as some people have been trying to make it look.
Right.
That's not a man trying to, because, and he's been so clear about the fact that if this is the end of my career as a Hollywood actor, so be it. But there are things which are more important than that. That if he has to go back to theater or do other kinds of works as an actor, if he can, if he cannot, so be it. So the fact that he's come to terms with the fact that I'm not going to, to stand still and let this unfold and let these vicious people get away with what they did to Zack, to the people who worked on those movies, the cast and crew. Remember, this is a guy who was telling us just a few weeks ago that Geoff Johns had made like a veiled threat to his career.
Right.
Because he had, oh my God forbid, he had taken up to the chain of command to report, unprofessional or abusive behavior. So, and the thing I found the most disgusting about that article in the Hollywood Reporter, which again, they're just repeating what this spokesperson of Warner Brothers is saying, is the fact that if you read between the lines of the article, there's a part there where you can tell that they're telling, yeah, because, and Ray is making things harder because we're in the middle of this, negotiation to make him come back as Cyborg for the Flash movie. That right there is a threat to his, not to his career in general, but as his future as Cyborg in the DC
and they're trying to
film universe. Yeah. So when I saw that in the article, I thought, Jesus Christ, like the lengths you're willing to go to try and shade him, to try and throw shade at him and try to bash him for basically doing the right thing. There has to get a point where we have to separate, entertainment and is what Ray Fisher keeps telling us, entertainment and accountability. There has to be a point where, because if good people do nothing, if they stay silent, if they stay quiet, I mean, Harvey Weinstein was just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah. Hollywood is a very, I mean, I really don't know because, of course, I haven't been there, I haven't worked there, but throughout the years, when things happened and years later, we find out what had happened behind the scenes and the disgusting behavior of some people, producers or filmmakers or actors or whatever. It's like, come on, guys, this goes beyond that. This is a human being. And he, about the investigation, he has said that it took him 2.5 years to have to gather enough information to make a solid case so it would not be easily dismissed. And also, he took that time with what I guess is his group of lawyers to make sure that other people, cast and crew members, would be able to make their statements anonymously, privately. So the fact that Warner Brothers, who, as the guys have very well said. The fact that Warner Brothers is saying, "Oh, he's not being cooperative," this is being handled by Warner Media, and Warner Media made sure that a third party, an independent investigation, is taking place in order to make sure that there's no influence from within.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are they saying with that article? They're saying nothing, and I wholeheartedly love the reaction of most people to that tweet, with the link to the article from the Hollywood Reporter, because most people are, you guys lied to us for years about this and this and this, and now you want us to believe you over a man who has shown us his integrity through the years, ever since that moment when he ripped off his shirt with the "I love Zack Snyder" t-shirt at Comic-Con,
Right.
all the way through. So I stand with Ray Fisher.
Facts. And again, ladies and gentlemen, it's not about clout. It's not about popularity. It's not about trying to boost Ray's career. He's just doing this to set an example, not just for the people in Hollywood, but for us as individuals who live in this society. That accountability, holding people accountable, is very important, and it is something that needs to happen more frequently, more consistently, because if not, evil people will continue to do people. There are going to be evil people in the world at the end of the day, but evil people need to know that there are people out there willing to not only unite, but there are people willing to stand for what is good. So when people on Twitter and elsewhere say, "Oh, I just need to hear more evidence," or "Oh, Geoff Johns has made Buffy and the Avengers," "Oh shit, Josh Whedon has made Buffy and the Avengers," "Geoff Johns has made Flashpoint." When you bring that up, you're just letting people know that you care more about the entertainment than you do somebody trying to do the right thing by calling out these people in these privileged positions, these abuses of power. So for me, I stand with Ray Fisher wholeheartedly. I completely believe him, and I hope that everyone listening, aside from my fellow brothers, do the same. Brother Fran, Brother Sean, Brother Jordan, did you all have any closing remarks before we end this shit?
Someone say something.
Go ahead, my brother. Let it out.
I don't know. I just it's a good time to be a DC fan, but also there's a lot of shit going on in the world, whether it be with COVID or even the stuff that Ray is trying to bring to light. But I think what we have to do is just keep up the positivity, keep supporting the Snyder Cut, keep supporting Gal Gadot, those involved who've supported Zack Snyder, and Ray Fisher as well. Like it's big for him, and he doesn't have much to fall back on in terms of, he hasn't been in huge films. He was in Justice League. I'm sure financially he's okay, and that's just me saying on the outside he's okay because he was in Justice League and he probably got good money for that. But I'm just saying is that he has a lot to deal with now, and I think it's a lot of bravery from a person to come out with these things against a corporation as big as Warner Brothers. And he isn't a big star in terms of what Ben Affleck is, or like Tom Cruise or The Rock, and this is a big thing in him. So I have a huge respect to Ray Fisher, and look, he's a theatrically trained actor. So he wasn't brought up in the movie industry or the TV industry. So he probably, when he sees injustice stuff happening, he wants to talk about it. He wants to do the right thing, because he probably is a good person, and I have the same kind of mentality as well. Like, you give respect to people, and unless people show that respect back to you, then they don't deserve your time, and they deserve to be called out when they don't show respect. But I just keep the positivity going, support the Snyder Cut, support all involved who have shown positivity towards the fan base, and then be vocal when Ray Fisher is going up against Warner Brothers on his own, really, So that's all.
Facts. Brother Luis, Brother Jordan, Brother Fran, did you have any closing remarks?
Go ahead, guys, because if I start speaking,
Just support Ray Fisher till the end, because we know he's right, and he's gonna need that support because they are already coming for him,
Yeah,
like we saw yesterday. So we have to push to support him because he's a great guy and he's trying to make a change in the industry. And I think that a lot of big teams that haven't been able to speak up are going to, in the future, be happy that there was a turning point to end abuse and overpower in Hollywood.
got it.
Yeah, I think when you support Ray Fisher, it's not just about Ray Fisher, it's about every other person who's been hurt or abused by the Hollywood system.
Mhm.
And there are upwards to thousands of people who have been hurt and taken advantage of by the Hollywood system. And it's an industry that's filled with creeps and horrible people.
Right.
Not too different than, I know there are other industries, some have more, some have less, but Hollywood is definitely filled with a lot of weirdos and abusers. And the sooner we get rid of them, the better Hollywood will be. So support Ray Fisher, and it's a step in the right direction.
I completely agree, brother Luis. I know
Yeah.
we all want to get some Subway or some moles, but if you had anything to add, brother,
Yeah, it's like there has come a time where the people who work there, they have to speak up, but in order for them to speak up, they have to feel safe enough to do so, safe enough that, oh my god, I'm going to lose my job, I'm going to end my career even before has actually really started. And yeah, we have to be supportive of we have to be supportive of victims of abuse, no matter what, no matter the race, the job they're doing, because that's wrong. That's wrong. That has to change. And it's Hollywood has proved that, as Jordan was saying, is filled with probably not very good people sometimes. And I would just like to add the fact that everybody who has ever worked with Zack and Deborah Snyder always praise them because they are willing and they are capable of creating this healthy and safe environment where everybody, every creative who work with them can blossom in a way that they can bring up their own ideas. They don't have to feel, like they're not being taken into account or whatever. So let's fight for that. Let's support Ray Fisher. Let's fight for that, for these people, in order for their careers in the future to be, to be in a place where it is safe to work, and they don't have to get worried about abusive people.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the stream. We thank you all for tuning in and joining us on this Saturday. As I said earlier, please continue to stay safe. Do take COVID seriously because it is a real thing despite all the different things you've heard about it. And please stay safe in general because these are very troubling times. And in the meantime, do not get triggered because we are right, even though these are our opinions. And we'll see you all next time. Peace.